Harvey, can you talk a bit about Donovan? And as best as you can, maybe talk about where the future is with the partnership with MediaBank into MediaOcean.
Yeah, well, so it's having started my own company and been bought a couple of times and coming back to Donovan and all those exciting things that happen in my life. This is by far the most exciting thing. I use the phrase with people. It feels emancipating. The coming together of these two companies that have all these really great systems, a lot of customization for the biggest buying organizations in the world, is going to allow us to start to meet their global needs. And you will see what you'll see out of MediaOcean, and if you go to that website, MediaOcean.com, you'll see a couple of videos that talk about this in depth. But our goal is to really transform the way people can bring customization, technology, specialization into the different media globally. So our clients need global information. There's no system that does that for them today. They have to do it by themselves, by hand. Very, very, very difficult, which makes it frustrating for their global clients. Many of them, as you know, now have global commitments. We had an unbelievable meeting where one of our largest customers brought in one of their largest clients, and they allowed them to let us hear what their global needs were. It was eye-opening. So those are the kinds of things that I know went through Michael Donovan's mind when he felt that he needed to get to the next level, and rather than going toe-to-toe with MediaBank, which has its excitement, it's much more exciting. So for Michael, for me, it's always been about building great products. The chance to do this at a global scale for really the first time, incorporating this thing we're calling an agency OS, agency operating system, which is a platform approach that allows all of these new technology players to plug directly into the same system holding the buys. Instead of having to output data or input data, they can all sit inside one system. The simplest way to think about that is imagine one of the verification companies in digital that today they have all these wonderful products, and they go into some client group at an agency, and they say, wow, it's so exciting. Well, how do I get this data? Well, let me show you how to log on to this screen. And it's a completely separate screen or a completely separate report, versus actually having that all sit inside the digital stewardship system, where they can read and write the data out of the agency's database. So it's very exciting. We've gotten a tremendous amount of great feedback. We are starting to work with the first few companies on this now. So I think you'll probably see some announcements in shortly and some actual products using the new OS in the first quarter. So this is right here. It's touchable. So very exciting.
Harvey, I've really only worked on the network side, so I'm going to ask what I think is sort of a naive or stupid question, but does your system do planning and buying?
Okay. So that's a great question. Not a stupid question at all. Traditional media, so non-digital, planning has been, for the most part, is done in these multimedia reach and frequency systems. There's 3 or 4 of them out there where people are deciding how much money to put into each media. By the time it hits our system, the budgets have been set, and our systems take over, and we call it pre-buy. So the plan is set, meaning how much money is going into that media, even into, let's take and spot into individual markets, but not what stations, not how much local cable. So that's the pre-buying, negotiating part, and then after that the buying takes over. We're big into pre-buy for all the broadcast media. We're big into pre-buy for digital media. Digital is more complicated because in traditional there's not a lot of research sources, although there are some exciting new systems out there bringing in other metrics that are not traditional Nielsen and Arbitron types of metrics, like our friends at Market Share Partners. Those are really high-end overall planning systems. By the time it gets to us, it's pre-buy. Now it's switched to digital. So in digital, there's a new database every week. There's information about the people that did the clicking, the people that did the pixel tracking that goes on. Blind or not, it's still a lot more information. And there's a dozen companies that say they can cross-reference that against intenders and buying auto insurance. One of the major purposes of our new operating system, the agency OS, is to allow an agency to assemble whatever set of these cool new metrics that particular advertiser wants to use and bring that to the table as part of their planning process that then feeds the pre-buying process. It'll tell them, you need to think about these 25 publishers. Or, those 5 you used last time didn't perform, so you want to think about this set of new 6. Then our systems take over to get that done in a very efficient way. So it's planning, pre-buying, buying, and of course invoice, bill, pay. And in the digital world, it's the ability to bring in all kinds of new databases that are really, and analytics companies, let them interoperate the way only really the agency can do, and come up with unique plans for different clients.